Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Tomo White and I am super excited to see you back in yet another of my videos. Today we're talking about self-love, and it's actually 5 habits of self-love. And I feel like self-love is one of those topics to start with. I could speak about for like weeks and months, because personally I have been on this massive journey to self-love, but also I feel like it's one of those topics that has been misunderstood the most in like the area of self-development. And you see kind of so many different ideas of what people think self-love is and what people think self-love isn't. So today I want to share with you 5 habits of mine that actually really helped me to restore my relationship with myself, to heal my relationship with myself, and most importantly help me to fall in love with myself again, because again being something I did not love myself too much back in the day. But it also, those habits really help my clients to fall back in love with themselves first. And self-love is not selfish, and I have heard so many different people talking about self-love as something that's selfish, as something that basically means that if you love yourself that you don't love others, or almost like if you do take the time for yourself and if you put your needs as a priority, that basically other people don't really matter to you. And that is really not the case. I believe that self-love or self-care is really about giving the world what's best of you instead of what's left of you. And I feel like a lot of the times when we give ourselves to other people constantly without giving anything back to ourselves, what we are really doing, we're really kind of giving the world what's left out of us. Because if we kind of are like, imagine you is like a jar of water. I know it's weird, but just imagine like you are this jar of water, and if you keep on giving and never refilling that jar, at some point it will happen that you literally have nothing to give anymore, or you are giving from empty. And that is never good for your mental health, it's never good for other people. So self-love is really about giving the world from the overflow that you have, and that you are able to fill up that jar. There you go, to kind of keep on filling up that jar so that you never run from empty, not for yourself and not for other people. So instead of self-love being selfish, I do feel like self-love is necessary and super beneficial for every single person out there. So without further ado, without a big introduction to what I think at the moment is a really hot topic, and I am really happy that finally we are talking about self-love again, because I feel like in society that has been built now on our insecurities, on social media things and things where we need to improve ourselves, where we need to Photoshop the hell out of ourselves in order for us to expect us to love and accept ourselves. I feel like is a really great time for self-love, self-care to come in. So without further ado, let's start with the first habit of self-love. Actually, now before I do start with the habits, I want to make sure that we understand what habit means. Habit means is something that you constantly do. I am in this video not giving you like the quick fix or quick things to do so you can start loving yourself. It actually does take 21 days for you guys to build a habit. So it really will require you kind of constantly going back to these things for you to notice the difference. But the beauty of habits is habits are actually what creates our reality. If you have good habits, you will build a beautiful reality for yourself. If you will have bad habits, you will find that those are the things that actually are holding you back, because you kind of are in this constant circle that brings specific results. So once you create these habits for yourself, you will find it easier and more effortless for you to really love yourself, accept yourself, and really live the life with self-love and acceptance. I cannot say this word. Right, so let's start with the first one, and it is expressing your needs. Now, this is very important one, and for me personally, I used to struggle with that a lot, as I'm naturally a very much like people's pleaser. I always want to be liked by everyone. I always wanted to be like the very easy person to deal with, which is great. However, I did find that a lot of the times I would not express what it is that I need in particular situations for me just to perform my best. So I would settle for, you know, things that were given to me or things that other people were enough for me to perform my best. But what would that end up doing? That would end up putting me in a situation where I cannot perform my best, I could not serve my best. So it's really important that you express your needs, and it is not selfish for you to express your needs. So it really starts with you understanding that by you expressing your needs, you actually are respecting yourself to start with, but you also are respecting other people, because in order for you to show up, there are particular needs that you need to have fulfilled in order for you to show up your best. Now, of course, there is a very extreme version of that, and we call, you know, like this whole diva behavior where, you know, it comes from your ego more, but I'm talking more about like the needs, what it is that you need in order to be loved in the relationship, in order to be understood, in order to perform your best. It's actually about understanding, you know, what it is exactly that you need and being able to express that so other people understand that as well. Because a lot of the times how other people treat us is because, and especially if we don't like how they treat us, is because we have educated them already to treat us in this particular way. So it's about educating people about your standards. It's educating people about what it is that you need, and it's not selfish. It's just really about, for instance, if a painter says, in order for me to paint this amazing picture, I need, you know, like 5 different colors of paint, I need this particular brush, and I need this canvas. Otherwise, I cannot make this painting. So we actually understand, okay, this person needs all those tools in order for them to create what it is that you are creating. So for us, it makes sense when we see that in the physical world, but it's exactly the same with you. What do you need in order for you to perform your best? Do you need 8 hours of sleep? Do you need to have a good diet? Do you need to have, you know, quiet space around you? Whatever it is that you need, make that as a priority, because this way you will be able to really give from overflow and from what's best of you, instead of what's left on you when you deal with, you know, whatever people check at you, because they just simply sometimes don't know what it is that you need. And a lot of the times we assume that people should know. Oh, you should have. I think one of the worst things that I hear people saying, oh, like, she should have known how to treat me, she should have known that I need this. But the reality is, no one is you and no one is me, and we do not read each other's minds. So instead of, you know, kind of pointing the fingers at who should have known how they should treat you, is how about communicating that and not making it a big deal or a diva moment? How about just, you know, communicating what are your needs, communicating what are the things that you would like. And I feel like that's what's lacking a lot of the times, is that genuine communication and educating each other of how to live, how to love one another, how to work with one another. I think that would be really one of the ways of us building a more beautiful future. Now, number 2 habit of self-love is having particular rituals. So having the rituals that actually help you to recharge, they help you to relax, they help you to kind of get back and kind of ground with yourself. Now, I know that we are very different, so I'm not gonna give you these particular rituals to follow. I'm gonna give you the freedom to actually decide what kind of rituals you want to get on board. So they can be morning rituals, they can be evening rituals, they can be weekend rituals, whatever rituals you wanna assign yourself with. These are amazing. Personally, my favorite ritual is 1 hour before bedtime. I leave my phone and I either would listen to audiobook, I would listen to a meditation, I would listen to just like some nice calming music, I would do my skincare, I would do my body skincare, if that's even a thing. I would basically spend that 1 hour with myself, reflecting on the day, reflecting with, things that I achieve, with things that I want to achieve tomorrow, gratitude, again, beauty little ritual. In 1 hour, there's a lot that you can do. Now, I understand not everybody has that 1 hour before bedtime. Even if it is 10-15 minutes before your bedtime, is actually when you can take that time to rewind, because I find that sometimes waking up early is much easier than going to bed earlier, because right before bedtime you might still feel stimulated, you might still feel awake. So it does take that discipline for you to actually put that phone down, put the laptop down, and go to bed. So I find like having that little ritual before bedtime that personally I look forward to really helps me to have a good night's sleep. And when you have a good night's sleep, that's how you feel rested next day. Anyway, but now it sounds like I am kind of imposing my my ritual onto you. But what I mean is, like, have a little ritual, some time for yourself that you can dedicate every single day, that will help you recharge, that will help you rewind, that will help you realign yourself to who you truly are and what you stand for. Because a lot of the times, especially if you are empath like myself, we do tend to take a lot of other people's energy. We're like a sponge, we just suck everything from outside. And sometimes, if for instance I feel like if I haven't done my little ritual for like a few days, I sometimes do feel like I am reacting from other person's emotions that I have picked up. So it's very important to kind of clear yourself, clear that energy, and kind of realign and rewind and recharge basically. So set yourself rituals. There's so many ritual ideas available online, actually, dependingly whether you're morning, evening person, or maybe it's a beauty ritual if it's not something that you do. Think what makes you feel the most recharged, the most fresh version of yourself, and really incorporate that in small rituals that you can do every single day. Number 3, self-discovery. Now, this is a big one, and I have been in field of self-help since I was 16. I read book Secret, I was doing meditations, I was trying to understand myself, I did all kinds of like astrology chart things, trying to really figure out who I am, what is Toma, what makes me, what am I naturally born with, what does my personality like, and all these kind of things. And I find that with knowing yourself, the good, the bad, the ugly, the amazing, the wonderful, all of these things really help me to understand me as a whole and really accept things, know which things do I need to improve on, and know which things do I need to highlight, and really gave me the confidence within myself, because I don't need to listen to other people who they think I am and their opinions of me, or what should I do, or what I should learn, and things like that. Instead, I know that myself, and I found like learning more about me really gave me a better understanding and more confidence about myself. Because a lot of the times we read things online about ourselves, and yes, it hurts. For instance, if it's a feedback that's not the most positive one, but yet at the same time, if you find that this feedback actually has nothing to do with you and is just another person's perception of who you are, it actually doesn't affect you anymore, because you know that you are not that. But I find like understanding yourself, knowing who you are, really allows you to love yourself more. And more than that, it's really, I find it really gives a lot of confidence, because sometimes like the fact that we're insecure about something is, I think, is because we don't know enough about ourselves, or we have heard from other people who they think we are and what they think our weaknesses is, to the point that sometimes it might not be true. And sometimes if we listen too much of what other people say who we are or what we should do, sometimes those labels kind of stick with us, and although we are not that, we start acting as that. For instance, if a mother said to the child, oh, you know, you're not good at football, you're not good at sports, even though that might not necessarily be true, the child growing up with, you know, that attachment might never look in football, but maybe truly he has the potential to become like the most beautiful football player in the world. So don't accept what other people have to say about you. Instead, really look within yourself. Try to understand your personality. Like I said, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between, and the things that you feel like you want to improve on, improve on. I don't think that, you know, the way we're born and the way we are now is just kind of the potential that we are. I feel like there's so much more than we can kind of, when we grow and when we prove ourselves, there's so many more opportunities that can come with that. And then, you know, there's so much growth in the way of like becoming the best version of yourself. So really discover more about yourself. You will, like, recently I found out so much about my own personality that I didn't know, and as soon as I found that out through some different self-discovery work, I was like, wow, like I had no idea that I had all that power within me. So now it allows me to tap into that. Otherwise I would have never known. So yeah, so self-discovery is a huge one, and the more you learn about yourself, the more confidence you will build about yourself, and you won't need other people to tell you who you are, because you will already know that. Number 4 is a controversial one. It really is, and it's because I have seen so many people reading gossip magazines, talking rubbish about other people, eating loads of junk food, all in the name of self-love, because it feels good, it feels comfortable. They think, okay, this is me loving myself. Now, there are exceptions when you can actually do that. Not all of these things, but some of the things that I mentioned. But in reality, self-love is not necessarily doing things that feel good. They're doing things that are good for you, for your mental health, for your body, for your spirit, but not necessarily what feels good, because then it's so easy to get in a lot of toxic things that actually are not good for you, like eating junk food and not caring about your body, or, you know, indulging in like toxic media, gossip, things like that. It's so easy to actually go down that path, especially if you think that this is a part of self-love because it feels good and you enjoy doing it. Now, self-love might not always feel good, and self-love might not always feel like it's something that you want to do, but those are the things that actually are good for your health, like exercising. I know so many people that absolutely hate exercising, including myself. I do work out, however, I do not like it at all. Like, I do not like working out. I'm much more like a singing, dancing, let's go on a massive walk kind of girl, instead of like being in the gym and pumping those weights, and like it's just not my thing at all. However, I know that it is good for my body. I know that it's good for my fitness, and now since we were here in a lockdown for a while, I haven't gone to the gym for like 4 months. I do work out with my personal trainer, however, it's not as often as I used to go to the gym, and I do feel the difference. I do feel like I go out of breath much faster, that like my overall fitness is not at the level where it used to be when I was working out constantly. Now also, clean eating, it's not something that we all want to follow, because that pizza is amazing, the chocolate brownies are absolutely amazing, and sometimes I do like a little bit of a McDonald's as well. But now, self-love does not mean constantly indulging in these types of foods that clearly are not great for our health. Like if you have pizza for lunch, pasta for dinner, and a chocolate brownie and ice cream for a dessert, clearly it's not good for your health. It might taste amazing, it might feel amazing to eat that in the moment, but if you carry on like that every single day, that is actually not a self-love. That's more self-harm. Actually, it's just that, you know, it feels good. So it's about understanding what's good for your body. Now, there are exceptions, what I said, like if you are someone that lives healthy lifestyle, if you're someone that, you know, is focusing more on like self-development and things that good for themselves. Every now and again, I'm not gonna lie, it's nice to read that, you know, cheap fashion magazine with a few celebrity gossips. It's nice to have that ice cream and chocolate brownie and eat pizza for lunch. These things are nice, but those are like the little guilty pleasures, like a little indulging into something, but it's not your lifestyle, and it's a big difference. I don't think that, you know, eating just healthy and being just focused on self-development and basically kind of isolating yourself from the reality is necessarily a good thing. I do think that you can have a little bit of those kind of guilty pleasures, and that's what, you know, that's what life is all about. We are not here to do always things that, you know, are just amazing for us. Otherwise, we wouldn't be experiencing some of the most beautiful experience in our lives. But it's just about understanding what is truly good for you and what is that indulgence, what is that guilty pleasure, what is that, you know, little enjoyment in your life. And for all of us, everything is very different. So again, what I'm trying to say here is that gossiping about people, talking bad about people, having bad diet, and kind of doing it all in the names of self-love, it's not self-love. So what I'm really trying to say is that self-love does not always feel absolutely amazing, and doing the right thing for you for long term might not always feel amazing in a moment. Like I said, like going to the gym or choosing chicken salad instead of amazing burger or something. These things might not always feel amazing, but it's about understanding what you bring in. I actually do love, I read this book, it's called Good Life, Good Vibes, Good Life, something around that. And it's about, he talks about basically bringing in your life everything that is in high frequency, things that are basically lifting your frequency. So that includes, you know, the food that you're eating, that includes the people that you're hanging around, that includes information that you put on board, that you take on board. So it's really like understanding what increases your vibration instead of what decreases your vibration, because a lot of, like, you know, unhealthy food, a lot of salt, a lot of sugar, all of these things are kind of quite low vibe. So if you also watch news, if you also watch gossip things and things like that, all of these things are low vibration, gossiping, all that kind of stuff. So the more of that you consume, the lower your vibration would be. But to live a good life, to really live from the point of self-love, you need to raise your vibration. So really, every single time you're thinking of doing something, think, is it a high vibe? Is it a low vibe? And like I said again, guilty pleasures are absolutely fine, and you don't have to be a fitness model. I am not a fitness model, definitely not. But it is about understanding the balance, and 80% of the time doing what's good for your body, what's good for your mind, and what's good for your soul. For that 20% of the time, do whatever it is that you wish in this entire world. Basically, live life. Now, the final one, the habit of self-love, it is declutter. And this is a huge one, and I talk about declutter all the time, and I practice decluttering literally constantly. Not only physical decluttering, but also mental decluttering, people decluttering, all kinds of decluttering. I do feel like that we live only once, and I never personally understood having things around me that do not serve me in my life. I see everything as energy, everything, even in my apartment, everything is energy. Those pillows, the sofa, the pictures behind me, the clothes that I'm wearing, the food I'm eating, everything brings in energy. And actually goes back to what I said in the previous point about it either brings low energy or high energy, and it's entirely up to you to decide what kind of energy you want more in your life. So I'm very particular about what are the things that I surround myself with, because Personally, I am very sensitive to energy and I cannot stand cluttered home. I cannot stand cluttered wardrobe, cluttered life in general with all kinds of people around me. I need to know exactly what is the purpose that of every single person that I know and I get in contact with. I need to know the purpose of every single item in my house. Honestly, sometimes I feel like I could just pack my stuff in just like one little suitcase and that would be enough, because I feel like, again, like I said, everything is energy, and if something is not serving you anymore, the piece of clothing, the person, the piece of furniture, it needs to go. Otherwise, it really is taking the space of something that could actually uplift your life. Now, when I'm talking about serving the purpose, I don't mean that in like any type of selfish way, particularly about people. I don't mean like serving a purpose as in like using people. I mean, like, if you do have people in your life that are constantly bringing you down, if they're using you, or if you really cannot find a middle ground out of this friendship, do you really need to hang around with those people? Especially if you have a completely different values, if you just do not have any type of common background, and just because you're kind of friends of the friends of the friends, do you really need to hang out? For me personally, I do want my people around me, and I do have a few friends. I don't have a lot of friends, and every single person that I have in my life that I call my friend, that I call my close friend, I learned so much from these people. Every single one of them inspire me so much in different ways, and they all are very different. They all have very different lifestyles. They all have very different values, but yet I do find it's something in that relationship. Maybe it's me understanding more about myself. Maybe it's me learning more about unconditional love. Maybe it's me giving something to that person. So it's what is the energy that you get out of the things that you have around you. Again, with your furniture, like, how many times have I been in my clients' houses and they have so many clothes of the things that they remind them of, like the funeral of that person, that remind them of some bad things, that remind them of, the place where they were not happy in their lives, like so many different ones. And all those things stored in your house, in your environment, they all hold that energy, and it brings the entire energy of your life down. So by removing those things, you're actually opening space for a new energy to come in, because once that energy, negative energy or kind of low energy is there, they take space, right? So removing those things, you're actually opening things. You're actually opening space for new and better things to come in your life. So really don't waste that. We live only once, and there's honestly no time in this world to surround yourself with things that just simply have dead energy or do not serve you in your life anymore. It's really time to upgrade that, to level up, to bring fresh energy, new energy in your life, whether it is a brand new dress that makes you look and feel absolutely amazing, where it is the new plant in your house that brings, the fresh energy to your home, or maybe it is a new friend that you can have the most beautiful conversations with and agree to disagree, or to learn a little bit more about each other, and with that learn more about the world. All of these things, they all contribute to a bigger picture. So these were my 5 habits to self-love, and I know that this video is probably gonna be very long because I did like 2 videos to kind of combine in one, but yet I do hope that you will take away something from 5 habits. You don't have to kind of do all of these habits in one go. Maybe pick one, or maybe some of those habits you actually already have in your life, and let me know in the comments box down below what are the videos that you would like to see next. Let me know below if you have any other habits to self-love that you would like to share that maybe is working for you, and I cannot wait to see you in my next video, and I'm sending you lots of love. Bye guys.